Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, where the topic is the power of the new Microsoft project and Microsoft 365. My name is Doug Wellsby, and I'm the Partner Channel Manager here at Microsoft. I'm also joined by my colleagues Jim Patterson, our Director of Sales, and Matt Willey, our OnePlan Product Specialist. During today's webinar, attendees will be on mute and the line will not be open for questions. However, feel free to use the GoToWebinar question feature to submit questions. I will address these questions during the webinar and will respond via email if we do not get to your specific question. If for some reason you get distracted or pulled away from the webinar, no need to worry, as I'll be emailing a link to the presentation once it has been posted to our YouTube channel. I'll now turn the presentation over to Jim.
Welcome to the power of the new Microsoft project and Microsoft 365. And we're going to talk about the new landscape for modern work management. And what do we mean by that? In modern work management, there's modern problems that we're trying to address by changing the paradigm of what we mean by work management. Some of the things are that work is happening everywhere, and it's happening all the time across all parts of the organization, and we can lose track because we don't have the requisite visibility into all the things that we need at any given point in time. Also, we have, with the proliferation of cloud tools, teams are choosing their own tools to work the way they want, whether they be because of different methodologies, complexity and simplicity of tools, whatever it might be, but we end up with a lot of different tools that people are using for similar things within the same organizations. Also, not everybody that does project management these days is a full-time trained PMP or dedicated project manager. Sometimes we have occasional or what's often called accidental project managers who are thrust into the role of a project manager, and they have to be able to execute in a way that is intuitive and simple for them. And on top of that, we have an ever-growing youthful workforce and millennials, et cetera, who in our app culture are expecting more simple visual tools that you just load and are productive with from day one without a lot of training and prep time. Also, more and more our business processes are cross-functional and hit a lot of different parts of the organization, and even geographically dispersed and remote workers even more so during the pandemic. And we have to be able to navigate around that and collaborate and work across these cross-functional and cross-geographic landscapes. And on top of that, there's more and more compliance and security and data privacy requirements that are coming up both in the United States, ones that are driven globally and industry-wide in the EU. And we have to meet those types of things in order to successfully navigate and get everybody involved in a way that makes sense and is compliant with regulations by the governing bodies. So modern solutions have to do different things. We have to be transparent. We have to be able to get the big picture easily, to see all work from tasks up to portfolios of projects and initiatives across multiple services and areas of the business or programs. We have to be versatile, meaning we have to be able to collaborate on projects with flexible methodologies and using familiar tools like the Microsoft tool sets that are out there that we are all familiar with. And then it needs to be intuitive, means we have to be able to get in, start fast, have simple interfaces, and use more modern web-based and app-based experiences so that we can get in and be productive in a paradigm or in a user experience that is commensurate with today's standards. And also it needs to be integrated, meaning if we have these cross-functional processes and these cross-geolocated teams, we have to run our end-to-end business process from a single place, and we have to be connected so that we can collaborate, look at changes, communicate status, and other things like that in a way that's easy to do. And then compliance, it really needs to be a cloud platform these days. With on-premise solutions, each organization is really responsible for their own compliance against an ever-increasing and an ever-hiring bar for compliance in data privacy and security. And why not put that in the hands of folks like Microsoft who do that on a full-time basis in a platform to take care of for all their clients all in one swoop. So these are just some of the things that we're facing in modern work management. And Microsoft is uniquely positioned to bring all this work together. Office 365 is a cloud platform that most organizations are using today. Dynamics 365 is definitely something that's out there in an ever-growing fashion as a business solutions platform in the Microsoft Cloud. And people are putting their own workloads up in the Microsoft Cloud up in Azure with the applications, even homegrown things that they've loaded up there to put a lot of different aspects of what they're doing in their workloads into the Microsoft Cloud. And if we think about that, Microsoft provides a connected project and work management platform with an ever-growing number of tools and capabilities, whether it be in Office 365, et cetera, which is going to be our focus today. All different types of tools are available in that stack, whether it be Microsoft Office 365 Planner or To-Do or Outlook tasks or doing things in SharePoint or using things from Azure DevOps with using Azure boards and things like that. The idea is there's task and work and project management capabilities that exist in a variety of fashions just within the Microsoft Cloud itself. So Microsoft's current project management vision for the future is give teams the ability to work it the way they want, yet give enterprises, let them get the results that they need, even though people are working the way that they want. And our focus today is to talk about the new Microsoft project experience and the future of project management, and Microsoft is here. It's really Microsoft Project Management reimagined with its new project for the web. So what is that? Well, it's a simple and powerful project management software that meets those criteria about easy, simple to get into, browser-based. And as you see in this animated slide, we have a number of different modes we can work with. We're looking at Kanban board style cards up top. We're looking at a simple grid that acts like a spreadsheet to basically go in there things, or even the traditional Gantt charts, all with the same different types of data, so people can work in the mode that they see that they want to work in the best. And it really provides a fresh new experience from those folks that are used to the desktop client and Microsoft Project. It's collaboration made easy, and we'll talk about collaboration today with things like co-authoring and things like that. And it's really an innovative new platform to take project into the next generation. So where does this fit? Well, there's been this void in the Microsoft project management and work management realm. Microsoft Project Professional in the third node up here really has been the standard and the most ubiquitous scheduling tool that's out there in the marketplace. But it really is a highly capable and sometimes to some people complex tool that requires some training in order to be proficient with it. But it really has a lot of capabilities for the seasoned and the trained project manager. But not everybody has the needs for all of its capabilities. Microsoft introduced with Office 365 Planner, which is more of a Kanban style card-based interface, but it's really not a scheduling tool. It doesn't have scheduling engine and dependencies. It doesn't have the ability to quantify resources and such. To the higher end, with Project Online, we had offered advanced project and portfolio management in Microsoft Project Online with the premium SKU to do what-if analysis and portfolio optimization and those types of things. But that simple, basic project management has been a void in the Microsoft offering, and that's where the new project for the web is meant to fit in. Now, Project for the Web is built upon the Microsoft Power Platform. And the Power Platform, the three major pillars in that Power Platform is the Power Apps, which is built on the Common Data Service, which is a repository for apps within that Power Platform. It leverages Power BI, which many of you are familiar with today, to do dashboarding, analytics, and reporting. And then Power Automate, which was formerly called Microsoft Flow, is there to provide you all the business process automation and workflows and even some data interchange between solutions, all within that. And Project for the Web is actually built on this platform. However, those of you that are maybe not into Power Apps yet, for example, there's things we can do with Project for the Web in Office 365. So imagine, having an environment where you can freely communicate and collaborate, use the Microsoft and third-party apps that you already use and love, and automate routine tasks, be able to integrate business process and line of business apps all in a single hub, and do the things that you see over here on the right, have meetings, persistent chat, being able to have file repositories and be able to communicate and see our reporting all in one place. Well, what we're describing there is Microsoft Teams. It is really the hub for teamwork in Microsoft 365, and people are using it more and more. And the spike recently, due to the pandemic and people working remotely, has even further accentuated or accelerated the use of Teams within that. And we're going to talk about how this new project for the web can be augmented and leveraged from within Microsoft Teams with all these other capabilities that it offers you as well. Now, for all your project management needs, think about Teams being able to surface or bring into one common forum the things that you need, whether it be task management, whether it be communications and chat, whether it be workflows or reporting and documents, etc. The idea is that whatever it is that you'd like to be part of the environment or the ecosystem for managing your projects, those can be brought to bear and brought into a central forum within Teams. And for the purposes of today, let's look at it this way. You can have Teams set up for an entire organization or for specific projects and have things brought together like SharePoint document libraries and repositories for project-related documents and process documents. You know, OneNote from Office 365 to have meeting minutes and other things like that all in that team. Reporting around that in Power BI that is surfaced right through the context of your team. And then in the upper right, project for the web being accessible and the schedules and the plans that you put in place in there just being one dimension of the things of the information that you'd be managing within that team context. So with that, we'd like to demonstrate to you those capabilities today. And with now, I'll turn it over to Matthew Willey, who'll demonstrate the capabilities that we're talking about here.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jim. All right, so I'm logged in here into Project for the Web. Project for the Web is part of the Office 365 set of applications, and so it's all accessed with your same username and password, and it works really well with a lot of these other applications that you may be utilizing as well, and I'll show that as we go through, as Jim started to mention. What we're looking at right now is I'm in a particular project schedule that I had previously created, my software development project schedule, and you'll see here I can come in and build out in this grid view that we're looking at here, more of what we'd call a traditional project schedule. And so I have different levels, where these could be different phases or stages of my particular project. And then under that, I have different subtasks, which can include things like milestones, deliverables, and or just tasks of work that need to get done to work on this particular project. So I can indent and outdent and go down to as much level of detail as needed for my project schedule and or keep it higher level if I'm working on maybe smaller, less complex projects. For each of these particular tasks, you'll see that you can estimate out your duration, which will then give you a start and a finish date, as well as you can come into these particular tasks and you can create dependencies between them. So I can say that this particular task depends on the secure core resources task, which is already complete, and I can easily visualize that right from here. And that's just saying that we can't start this task until the other one completes. But you can create all of the different relationship types or dependencies that you're used to if you've used other project management tools like Project Desktop in the past. I also have other information here, things like the what bucket this is in. We'll see that a little bit more as we get to the board, but I can kind of organize these different tasks into different buckets. And I can track my effort, what's been completed, what's remaining, and therefore then the total effort we believe it's going to take to get this particular task done. In this case, this is a milestone, so it doesn't have effort, but other tasks may if you choose to utilize that capability. From there, I'm going to go ahead and close that. And you can start to look at the view here and see some of the different capabilities within Project for the Web. One thing is I can come in and I can assign these tasks to different resources that are part of my particular project here. So I've created a team of different people that are working on this, and I've started to assign those tasks to the different people within the team. And this is just pulling off of your kind of Office 365 user pool, if you want to think of it that way. So anyone who's here within Office 365, I can pull them into a particular project and start collaborating on them with them and getting status from them and such on these different tasks that they're working on. Scrolling over to the right, I can see my % complete and how far I'm done or not on a particular task. And Project for the Web tries to alert me to where there may be some issues so I can try to resolve those. For example, these tasks here are all behind schedule, so they're highlighted in red, meaning I was supposed to have already got these done. I have not got them done yet. So I need to work on that, work with the team, get these things done, and get that back on track so I can keep my schedule moving forward. Project for the Web is meant to be very collaborative in real time. And so one of the ways that we can do that is as I'm actually updating things in real time, people that are also looking at the same schedule or working on the same schedule as me will get those updates in real time without having to refresh their page or anything like that. So it's built to be collaborative, or from a technical perspective, essentially it's a stateless tool. So what that means is, for example, if I come over here, I now have 2 screens up of the same project. Imagine these were 2 different people working on the same project, or updating their status on many different people, possibly updating their status on different tasks. You'll see that if I update a particular task and mark it off as complete, shortly after that, it will automatically update as complete over here without me having to refresh my page or anything like that. So we can be communicating, collaborating, working in real time, even if we're in different locations, working over the web on virtual meetings or whatever it might be. And then again, if I mark it off on the other side, I'll uncheck it, it will go back. And everything will do that as such, not just marking things complete, right? So you can really have a more collaborative, real-time experience in here as you're working with Project for the Web. Now, the grid view here isn't the only way that you can work with your project schedules. There's another option in here, which is the Kanban board. So if you're looking to be a little bit more agile and to visualize the different tasks, all the work that you have to do, whether these are bugs, defects, user stories, tasks, whatever they might be, I can utilize the bucket feature to do things like, say, sprint planning. So I've created different buckets for each one of my sprints. I'm grouped up by bucket here. And I've also created one that I called my backlog. So these are all the tasks that are not yet planned into a sprint. I can simply just drag and drop to move these into a particular sprint. If I was, say, planning up sprint 3, I can then come and drag and drop that into sprint 3 here, if I wanted to do so, to plan these out into different sprints. But you could also use these buckets for other reasons. You could group these up into any different type of bucket that you might want, because you can actually come here and you can create your own buckets on the fly and then group these things up accordingly. I can also visualize this more by progress. So I can see here are all of the items that have not started yet. Here are all the work items that are in progress, and here are all the items that are currently completed. From this Kanban board as well, if you need any additional information, then you can come in here and you can click on these particular tasks, and it'll bring up that same detail form that we were looking at earlier. So I can still get access to all the same information that we had previously looked at through the grid view. But really, this just makes it a lot more easy to drag and drop, to update status, to be collaborative, to visualize where your tasks are at in many different ways. Lastly, if you're more interested in a timeline view, what some might call a Gantt, you can come in and you can see all of the different tasks in the schedule that you had created over here in their hierarchy, if you had created a hierarchy. And on the right side, I can visualize on the timeline where these tasks are planned to happen, where they're scheduled to happen. I can visualize the % complete on these. So this little blue bar here is showing me this particular task is 30-ish% complete. And or these ones are already fully completed, some haven't started yet. As well as I can visualize the dependencies that I created between these different tasks. So you'll see these little lines here that drag and drop from one task to another. And if I had created any milestones, you'll see they show up as diamonds here, as you may recognize them from other scheduling tools like Project Desktop in the past. The cool thing is this isn't just a view here to show me in a timeline view, but it's actually a usable, workable tool. So for example, if I wanted to create a dependency or update a dependency, I can simply just click on the little dot there and drag and drop this onto any other particular task that I may want it to create new dependencies. So that can make a very visual, easy drag and drop way of creating linkages between your different tasks. So that the schedule will flow accordingly based off of the scheduling engine behind this. So things will move as things come out and so on and so forth accordingly, without you having to try to manually update all of these tasks to try to keep them in line. On top of that, You can also just drag and drop to move things around or extend tasks, make them bigger, smaller if we need to extend the duration for whatever reason, or if I need to push something out, and everything will then flow accordingly after that. So it's a very visual drag and drop model here within all of these different views of your project schedule that we saw. On top of that, project for the web can be worked with inside of teams, as Jim mentioned, and that adds on a slew of different capabilities that you can utilize to communicate and collaborate around your particular project. So in this case, you'll see here, I have my software development project, and I have a team created for that software development project that we're working on. And the very first thing that we'll see here is the communication stream. So within my communication stream on this particular channel, I can post things in here for people, links to documents that they may be interested in that are relevant to this project that we're working on, notifications, whatever it might be. And I can even utilize chatbots within here if I want to do so, which link into a lot of my favorite different tools that I might be using, both Microsoft tools as well as other third-party tools, to be able to actually, use a chatbot to communicate with these different tools and make basic everyday tasks easier. For example, if you were using Azure DevOps, whether that be Azure boards, Azure repos, or pipelines for, say, your source control management of your source code for this software development project, I could add that chatbot into my chat window here and start chatting with those different applications to automate different routine tasks to make it easier to interact with these different tools. On top of that, this also adds then document management into the mix. So I can come into here and I can track documents and create different folders for documents, whether those be just regular old project documents, process flows, you might be creating requirements documents, whatever it may be that's generated out of this particular project, and have a place to store in those as well as collaborate on those in real time over the web with each other. So imagine we were both working on, say, the same Excel spreadsheet at the same time, and you see the different updates in both places happen as people are working on them. Again, helping you to communicate, collaborate on these different projects in real time over the web without having to be in person for these. With that said, right from within this team, I can also access project for the web. So it's the exact same thing that we just went through, so I won't demo the whole thing again, but that grid view, that board view, that timeline view, all of the different capabilities that I just showed are actually workable right through project or right through Teams. So meaning this isn't just a view of it, I can still come in here and click and drag and drop and do all the different things I might want to do. So if you have a team of people collaborating and updating files and updating comments, right from the same team, they can access project for the web. They don't have to go somewhere else. So this can really create kind of one place to go to access everything related to this particular project. At the same time, if you need to track meeting minutes and notes and such around meetings that may happen during this project and such, you can utilize OneNote from right here within inside of Teams as well and track your different decisions, whether they might be, put any notes and so on and so forth, and capture all of that right here, right related to your particular project to keep that all in line and in one place. As I mentioned, if let's say you are also using Azure DevOps, and one of the components in Azure DevOps, for example, is a Kanban board, but there's also a test management suite in there. There's source code management for software development types of projects and such. You can pull that up right here within your team as well. And there's a slew of other different applications here that you can add into your team. So if you're using a variety of different applications, like say I was using a Lucid chart in here as well, I could add that into my team and have that all in one place. So even though I'm using a variety of different applications, they're all here available to me right within this one team. On top of that, if you need to generate some different reports for your upper management, for executives, for stakeholders, for customers, whoever it might be for these projects that you're working on, there's a out-of-the-box Power BI report pack for project for the web that gives you a lot of insight into all the different projects you have going on and gives you some great information on the status of those, on the resourcing, and so on and so forth. Here, what we're looking at is a portfolio dashboard that shows a list of all of my different projects, who's the project manager, and some key information around those different projects so I can kind of get a high-level snapshot of what's going on. Then I can utilize the different tabs to visualize pieces of information that I might be more interested in. For example, here's a portfolio timeline view that shows me my portfolio projects and how they're all kind of scheduled out, or you might refer to this possibly as a roadmap view as well. If I'm more interested in resourcing where my resources are working, who's over allocated, who's not, there's a full set of resource management reports built into this as well. So I can see my resources, how they're doing, and get lots of information around that across my pool of resources that are working on across these different projects, and so on and so forth. So there's a variety of different reports out of the box, as well as you can edit these reports and or create new reports from the data that's available here, and really get any type of report you might want. You just don't have to start from scratch. You can start from this pre-built report pack. Lastly, if you really want to extend Project for the Web and take it to the next level, and we'll be having another webinar that will dive a lot more into this later on, what I can do is I can take Power Apps and I can build different Power Apps and or use a pre-configured solution and embed Project for the Web right into it. So what I was looking at, it was a list of all my projects. I just clicked into that same software development project, and this allows me to add things like my stage gate or phase workflow across the top. So I can keep track of what stage I'm in, automate approvals around this project, so on and so forth, as well as track things like risks, issues, changes, and other types of information that you may want to track around these particular projects. At the same time, Project for the Web is available right from within here as well. So it's a really versatile tool, and there's multiple ways you can work with it and extend it utilizing both Teams and Power Apps. So you'll see right here that same project schedule that we had created earlier on in Project for the Web is now available right here with all the same capabilities, the grid, the board, the timeline, etc. So it really allows you to work the way you want, collaborate with your team, and add on to it with these extra capabilities like Teams, Power BI, etc., to get a really robust experience and be able to manage your projects effectively. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Jim for a few more closing notes, and then we'll let you guys get out of here for the day. So back
Thanks,
to
Matt. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate the walkthrough. So let's summarize a little bit. What we talked about today was providing a modern user experience that's now expected by today's workforce makeup that's out there. That Microsoft's Work Management Suite provides a complete set of tool options within the Microsoft Cloud, so there's a variety of those things that you can access. The new Project for the Web is Microsoft's reimagined tool for project and work management, and it leverages the common data service to provide a common repository for all projects and other work management information. We talked about Office 365 being so widely used by organizations today, and specifically how its use of Microsoft Teams within that platform provides a collaborative hub for work and collaboration that includes Project for the Web and all the related things that you might manage around a particular project team. What we're doing is providing an easier way and streamlining access and navigation so that it helps improve adoption by making it easier for people to get in and making them easier to get started. Ultimately, a better user experience usually drives better participation and compliance, meaning you're getting more complete information and more timely information by better participation. And by better collaboration across all areas of the business, we get more complete and current visibility and transparency into information to help us make better decisions as we go on through. So a little bit more on this. Matt kind of showed you a little bit of Power Apps, but our next webinar on June 11th is really going to talk about how we can take this even farther. You know, the things we showed today were really, you know, the basics on what you can do with Project for the Web, Power BI, report pack, and then just surfacing it through Teams. So if you think about just using those components, Project for the Web by itself and the Power BI report pack and content like that, I consider that in a crawl, walk, run type of context, a crawl stage. We'll also talk about the walk stage, where we're going to introduce you to some pre-built PPM accelerators in Power Apps that leverages Project for the Web with core capabilities and best practices included to really truly elevate this to a portfolio management solution beyond just web-based project management. And then we're then going to talk about and demonstrate the run stage, where we can really light things up and put in a fully adaptive or hybrid PPM solution that supports a variety of execution tools beyond just Project for the Web, supporting different methodologies and frameworks, and some more advanced capabilities like what-if scenarios and modeling and those types of things. So if you're interested in that, you can actually go to the URL you see at the bottom of the slide. You will be getting a copy of this deck, but we'll be doing that in 2 weeks from today. So if you're interested in seeing how this journey progresses, we'll be talking about that then. But the idea here is we can meet you where you're at from our organizational readiness, project management maturity case, but paint a vision for the journey that you can embark upon. A little bit about Wickersoft. We are a multi-gold certified Microsoft partner with a specific specialty in project and portfolio management. We basically help people get the most out of their investments in Microsoft technologies, and we get the outcomes and the paybacks that they're hoping for. We were named Microsoft's Worldwide PPM Partner of the Year in its most recent issuance of that designation, and we're proud to say that we can help you in a variety of different fashions, and we have a global footprint with offices around the world. We are a full service firm, so we can help with implementation services on solutions, any education and training that you might need, or any ongoing support that you might need. We even have advisory services on best practices and ways to do adoption and more transformational types of services that you might want. So the idea here is we can help you to whatever degree you'd like us to help you. Some of the things that we offer as an output of this, and we can offer you a free strategy workshop to maybe give you an idea of what it would take to get you into these things. You know, review your current use of project management tools and assess your current requirements and maybe your desired future state you'd like to be in, and then determine how to implement or migrate into the new technologies or solutions, and then give you an idea what that implementation roadmap might be that might be the best for your adoption success. And then what it would cost to do something like that as well. So we're happy to do that for you and do some investigation with you. So that free strategy workshop is a potential next step you might take. If you're interested in trialing some of this software, we can actually set you up with a trial environment and with some Wickersoft support if you're interested. And Matt did give you a very generalized demo today. So if you want something more personalized, one-on-one, that is more mapped to maybe your requirements or your process, we're happy to do that as well. And then also feel free to sign up for the June 11th webinar where we're going to take this to the next level. With that, I'd like to thank you. We do have a library of webinars and upcoming webinars that you can register for. So if you go to us.wickersoft.com/webinars, you can get access to both the upcoming registrations as well as accessing any of the on-demand ones we've done over the past. If you would like to engage us on any of the next steps, contact us at wickersoft.com is probably a good way to go about. But if I can answer any questions for you personally, feel free to reach out to me, Jim Patterson, at jpatterson@wickersoft.com. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for taking time out of your valuable day. And we hope to engage with you in the not too distant future. Bye-bye.